Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 8th to the 14th of July 2013. On Monday the 8th we see the annual new moon in Cancer. We have Mars approaching Cancer, Jupiter, Sun, Moon and Mercury all in that sign. And they're all adding to the grand trine in water that we've been experiencing for the last couple of weeks. So still a lot of energy in the water signs. The new moon in Cancer will open up a 2-week window, and we've been shown recently where our emotional compass may be off point, out of direction, and how to reset it. So there's a process going on with all of these signs in the water, but especially as the new moon opens up, we need to take a look at where old emotions are not serving us, where they've been part of our program, and where new emotions, pure and true, can guide us more clearly through the emotional waters and help us navigate. So our thoughts are important, but our emotions are our actual navigational device, which show us what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and quite often, if that's not investigated on a regular basis, we can go off course. So a 2-week window from Monday the 8th with the new moon in Cancer joined by a host of other planets and forming the grand trine in water. This is a big moment now, a big window that's opening up for us to really reset ourselves and refresh ourselves and rejuvenate ourselves. On Tuesday the Sun conjuncts Mercury, and that means that Sun and Mercury are together. Mercury is still retrograde. So with the Sun coming to join a retrograde Mercury, we again have a re-energizing, but it does require going backwards first. Go back a step, take a look back. How are you thinking? How are you feeling? And where can you revitalize that part? So a very similar energy to the new moon. Those two things go very, very well together. We may be experiencing people and situations coming from the past, or slight frustrations when we're trying to plan to go forwards, but things don't quite work out to plan. And this is always a good thing. People dread Mercury retrograde, but it just requires us to be a bit more flexible, a bit more philosophical, and to see what the message is. What are we learning, rather than trying to push forwards all the time? Because when we go back and recalibrate, we end up more sure of ourselves, more direct when Mercury does go direct, more in a direct line, building upon something that's going to last rather than building on dodgy ground. On Wednesday the 10th, the moon conjuncts Venus, so the moon and Venus are together, and that again is in Cancer, so it's a real Cancerian week this week, but with Venus we'll be looking at, okay, if we've got all of these emotions and we've sorted out mentally and psychologically where they're coming from with all the retrograde action, then where's our outlet, where's our muse, where's our channel, where's our inspiration? Because the best music and art is created from our emotions and our souls. So try and find our outlet on Wednesday and going forwards to say, okay, let me express how I feel and let me put this out in something creative and something expressive. So that's Wednesday with the moon and Venus asking us to find our inner muse and to spread and radiate that energy outwards to reflect on our creative side and how it heals us. On Friday, Mars aligns with Alcyone. Now, Mars is about to leave Gemini, and it's been there since the 1st of June. And this has been showing us where we put our passion and drive and focus as far as our mind is concerned, what we put our mind to. But when it aligns with Alcyone before moving into Cancer on Sunday, then we get this kind of final day of judgment. It's only you judging yourself, so that's not something to be afraid of. But when anything goes past the Sun Alcyone, which is the central sun in the Pleiades system, then it's a real alignment. It's a real chance to get clear and to be a free channel, to get rid of the frustrations of trying to force things forward and control things again, but also get into that pure alignment and maybe stop and receive the lessons, stop and make some gentle judgment on how you are using your mind and how you are getting frustrated and how you are dealing with the mental issues of our world, because when Mars moves into Cancer, then that's going to be like a depth charge again in the area of our emotions. So if our mind isn't stable, then our emotions are unstable. So this is a wonderful chance on Friday, Saturday, Sunday to really get into alignment with that, because when Mars goes into Cancer, there's going to be even more emotional fire, fervence and heat going on in that Cancerian section. But if your mind's stable, then at least you'll be directing that, and that's where we can control. Our control in life doesn't come from external, trying to make things happen and trying to push. Our control in life comes from being in alignment, from knowing what our soul wants, from living from our higher purpose, and from being a master of our minds and our emotions, so that we're authentic and we're effortlessly creating. So this is an amazing week, especially towards the end, all coming under the window of the new moon in Cancer. But especially towards the end of the week, it's a really good chance to make sure that your physical, emotional, mental and spiritual self is higher aligned, so that whatever comes through with Mars in Cancer, and as we go forward with the Grand Trine into August, then you're creating from a place of authenticity and you're not being buffeted around by all these emotional waves. So that's the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.